Hey everyone, Dr. Liebreich here, and today I'm going to be going over week one material for qualitative research. So today I'm going to be doing an introduction to myself and the class and an overview of what we'll be focusing on in this incredibly fast-paced 4.5 week summer session one class. All right. I like to start my videos and really all my classes off with an agenda so you know what to expect in your weekly video from me. So today it's introductions, it's overview, it's going over assignments, followed by exit pass and reminders, which may look very familiar to some of you because I know I saw some familiar names on my roster. Okay, that's me. I'm Dr. Liebreich. That's how you say my name phonetically. Students always ask, so I started adding that to my intros. I use she, her pronouns. From Ohio originally. If you've ever met me before, you probably already know that. I completed my bachelor degree at Ohio State. Then I did my master's at West Virginia University, where I started teaching 11 years ago now. And then finally, I completed my PhD at the University of Hawaii in 2022 on their Manoa campus. And yeah, right. I'm here to teach and learn from you all. I take the reflexive sort of two-way street aspect of teaching very seriously. And so you'll see when I explain the exit pass at the end of this video, how I really do value the feedback I receive from students. And I'm always willing to take into consideration what's going on in your life when it comes to what we're learning about, how we're learning about these things, and sort of just other nuts and bolts of teaching and education and that sort of thing. So please never hesitate to email me, schedule office hours with me via Zoom, whatever I can do to help you, please let me know. What I want to learn from you all is what kind of research interests you. So oftentimes a research methods class can seem boring to students, and I like to think of new and innovative ways I can engage young people. So if there are topics or certain methodologies that you think are more interesting, again, feel free to let me know so I can focus more on those things throughout our semester and in future iterations of this class. And then my fun fact is this summer is my last semester at CCU. I will be transitioning to a new position as an assistant professor again at Elmhurst University in the Chicago area. So I'm happy to see so many familiar names on the roster, and I hope you enjoy my last summer here with me. I am going to ask for you all to introduce yourself on the discussion board form using that same criteria that I just did for myself. I always like to say I will never ask my students to do anything that I haven't done or that I wouldn't do. And so I did that for you. I modeled it for you. And my goal is to model pretty much as I possibly can for you in our short time together. So this is just another example of me doing that. Please answer all these aspects of your life so I can get to know you and other students in the class can get to know you as well. All right. And all this information will be on the discussion board forum, so you won't have to worry about memorizing this or anything like that. And all my slides will always be downloadable from Moodle so you can reference them when you're working on assignments and that sort of thing. Okay, so an overview of this class and what we'll be learning about. Qualitative research is a lot of stuff. I think when we talk about research methods in the social sciences, quantitative research, which is like quantities, numbers, if you will, is a little more cut and dry. In a quantitative research methods class, you're pretty much going to be doing statistics. You're going to learn how to use SPSS or Stata, some sort of statistical software package. You're going to learn how to write survey questions. You're going to collect survey data and analyze it statistically in that software package. Very cut and dry. Qualitative research is much messier in a lot of different ways. There's a plethora of methodologies that you can employ and still calling it qualitative research methods. The process as far as how to analyze the data, how much data you need, it's all messy and it changes and evolves throughout the duration of a research project. So that's really important to keep in mind for a number of reasons in our class. Number one, it's simply impossible for me to teach you about every different type of qualitative research methods that exist in the social sciences, even within the subfield of sociology. That's just not feasible. And so I'm going to hone in on some of the research methodologies that I am most expert on. And then you'll also have your textbook from this class that pretty much does cover everything. And hopefully you'll be able to utilize that as a resource if you do need to learn about a type of research that we aren't focusing on for the purpose of our class. All right, so the research process is messy when we're dealing with qualitative data, and we're not going to be able to cover everything. I want that clear from the get-go. That also means the reading of your textbook is going to look different. I would argue I'm going to take a non-traditional approach to assigning readings for this class. So typically, if I have students pay for a textbook, I really want you to get your bang for your buck, and I want you to read all the chapters. But research methodology is one of the few times where I'm going to say, maybe not so much. Like, I don't know in all of the research methods classes I've taken that I've ever read a research methods book from start to finish. Based off of the research project you're working on, the data you're collecting and analyzing, what stage you're at in the process. So are you collecting data or are you analyzing data? All these different aspects of what you're working on will require you to read different parts of the textbook you're looking at, the research methods textbook you're looking at. So it doesn't make sense to sort of read things chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. We'll be skipping around based off of the research methodologies that are the focus of our class. So just bear in mind that you'll really want to pay attention to the course schedule that's toward the end of our syllabus. You'll really want to pay attention to what I've assigned to you, and you want to make sure you're reading the proper chapter that goes along with the methodology we're learning about for that week. So with that being said, what are we focusing on this semester? So I'm breaking things down into sort of 3 sections based off of 3 projects that I've dedicated a lot of my professional life to. So the first sort of section of our class will be grounded theory and focus groups. Grounded theory is used a lot in sociology and in other subfields within the social sciences, so I think it's a good one to focus in on. When I did a grounded theory project for my master's thesis, I worked on this project for approximately 2 years. I employed focus groups. So when I do my weekly video for this section, you'll hear about my master's thesis research on fights on college campuses, where I'll be talking about grounded theory and focus groups. For that reason, I am pairing them together, but they're 2 distinct things that you'll be learning about and reading about for the textbook during that unit of our class. The next section will be participatory action research, which is sort of an umbrella type of methodology where you as the researcher are getting really involved with the community that you're researching with. It's more of a reflexive process. It's one of the funnest ways to collect data, I think, in the social sciences. Students really enjoy engaging with participatory action research. And then we're going to hone in on a more specific form of participatory action research called photo voice methodology. Again, this is a type of methodology that I did a project on when I was a PhD student in Honolulu, and I spent a couple of years working on this photo voice project. So that's what will be the focus within that unit. And this is a bit of a typo here. I'll fix it before posting this PowerPoint deck on Moodle, but the PDF on Moodle that you'll need to read, there's only probably going to be one this semester that's required. It's actually going to be about photo voice methodology because I don't think that the textbook I assigned gives enough information about that subsection within participatory action research. So there will be a journal article that covers that methodology. And then finally, our third section, our third unit, will focus on case study and one-on-one interviews. All right. So that's sort of the breakdown and the overview of the different methodologies you'll be learning about. So we have grounded theory, focus groups, participatory action research, photo voice, case study, and one-on-one interviews. Now that sounds like a lot of information to learn, and it is. But I hope that by doing a demonstration of actual research projects that I've worked on topics that I think students typically find interesting, it'll really help you to see what these different types of methodologies can look like in real life, in real research project. Okay. Now, of course, students always want to know, how am I going to be assessed at the end of the semester? So here's a breakdown of the various assignments and the structure of our class. Now, I want to point out that all of this information, really everything that I'm covering in this video and in this PowerPoint file, is available in the syllabus. And my expectation, especially at the 300 level, is that students will read the syllabus from start to finish on their own time, and they'll make sure that they understand what my expectations are. But I also want to go over this because I feel like if you hear me talking about the assignments and the structure of our class, that sort of just helps solidify everything in your mind as students. So I'll cover that. And then, of course, if you have any questions for me, I will be available via email or Zoom or any sort of electronic form of communication. Okay, so the most important thing to know is that all assignments are due on Fridays at 11:59 p.m. electronically on Moodle. Now, the reason why I have everything due on Friday is because we have 4.5 weeks together. So that last week, week 5, is a half week, and we actually have to finish on Friday. So for consistency's sake, I am having all assignments due on Fridays at 11:59 p.m., okay? So there's not any confusion. However, for these smaller assignments, if you would like to have an extension until Sunday, I am open to that. I just don't want us to get too far behind because we are in a 5.5 week, super fast paced environment. But just sort of be mindful of that, especially like, we're going to talk about these all in depth in a second, but you have to schedule a Zoom meeting with me at 2 different points in the semester. If we just can't get our schedules to align and you have to schedule a meeting with me on Saturday or Sunday, it's not ideal for either of us. I'm a firm believer we should be enjoying our weekends. But if you need to do that, it's totally cool. You're not going to lose points just for that reason alone. Okay, I've digressed. So what are the smaller assignments? These are worth 10 points each. We're going to start with one-on-one meetings. By the end of week 1, you should have met with me. We'll go over what types of methodology interest you, what type of topics you might be wanting to focus on for your final project, and you'll be taking notes that you'll have to type up at some point if you take hand notes initially. So having that meeting with me and submitting your notes is worth 10 points. Then week 2, you're going to complete what we call city training. This is training that has to do with research methods and ethics. There are 2 required city training certifications for the social sciences. Everyone will need to do those city trainings and submit their certifications that say, hey, I took these 2 trainings and I passed. This is what you have to do in order to officially collect data that you want to publish on in the future. So this is me preemptively preparing you should you want to do a research project in the future, let's say as an independent study or something like that with another professor. Okay, then you're going to meet with me a second time. Again, this is on Zoom, it'll be electronic, and you're going to take notes. Here, we're going to check in to see how some of the progress is going for your larger assignments. We'll touch base to make sure that you have a topic chosen for your final project. And we'll just sort of touch base on a number of things. And again, you'll get your 10 points for actually having the meeting with me and submitting the notes that you took onto Moodle. All right. Short assignment number 4. You're going to actually write an interview protocol. This is going to be a draft. An interview protocol is just a fancy way of saying interview questions, qualitative interview questions you would want to interview someone with. I will give you feedback on that interview protocol. And then you'll use it later on in one of the larger assignments. And then finally, your fifth and final smaller assignment is an informal essay. I put approximately 2 paragraphs on this slide. It should be between 1 and 3 paragraphs. What you're going to do is you are going to write, again, informally, you'll just get credit for doing it. I'm not going to grade for grammar, mechanics, and that sort of thing. I just want you to explain to me. So your interview protocol, you'll say, this is a semi-structure one-on-one interview, or this is a photo voice interview protocol for short assignment number 4. In your essay, you're going to write about, well, if I wanted to turn this interview protocol I wrote last week into a photo voice interview protocol, or I wanted to change it into a focus group interview protocol. Here are some of the ways that I would revise the questions. Here are some things I would add or change or delete, that sort of thing. I just want students to grow familiar with how do you write different interview questions depending on the type of methodology you're using, because your topic can stay the same. Your topic can always stay the same. But if you're collecting a different type of methodological data, then the questions will have to change a little bit, even though the content is the same, even though you might be looking for similar themes and patterns from the data you collect. The wording and the protocol and the structure of things will look different. And so that's what you'll be writing about in your essay. Okay, so for those smaller things, there will not be, for these smaller 5 assignments, there will not be a formal rubric. You will complete these assignments and then you'll get points. You'll get your 10 points for doing them. All of the larger assignments will have formal rubrics that are posted to Moodle. So they are a lit review matrix, actually conducting an interview, and then what I'm calling your final project, which I'll talk about all of them in depth right now. All right, so your lit review matrix. When you're collecting qualitative data, you always want to root everything in scholarly journal articles and the literature review that you're compiling. What have other people done in terms of data collection and data analysis who are researching the same topic as you? What are they doing? And so you want to organize the literature that you're collecting on your topic in a way that makes sense to help inform the data that you're collecting. Now, this sounds overwhelming. Here's the good news. You don't actually have to read all of the journal articles that go into your lit review matrix. You want to be able to organize the findings that other people have published in their journal articles so that it can inform your research methods. And I'm also going to provide you with a template. So you're going to use Excel, and I will give you an Excel template with all of the columns that I'm looking for you to include. And then you'll find a journal article on your topic and you'll plug in all of the information into the columns I've already created for you. We will check in during those meetings that you have to schedule with me, and I'm going to make sure, hey, what does your template look like? Have you actually downloaded that template and started putting stuff into your template? Okay, good, check. You get some points for that. And we'll sort of just go through that process together. Part of the 50 points you'll get towards your lit review matrix will be checking in with me and showing me, okay, so far I've only found one journal article to put into my matrix. And then you meet with me again. Okay, now I have 4, I have 3, or however many you have, and you'll get points along the way. And then at the end of the semester, you'll literally upload to Moodle an Excel file. Again, that's based off of the template that you've downloaded that I've created. And it'll have all of your journal articles organized for you. My goal is that you'll be able to take that literature review matrix and use it for a research project in the future. And by the way, if you took gender and society with me and you did your lit review for that class, you can actually use that literature for your literature review matrix. Or if you had another class, because I know a lot of professors at CCU in sociology will have your final project or like final assignment for their class be a literature review, you can take a literature review from another class and use that for your literature review matrix. And I should also say, in addition to having that template for you, I will also do a demonstration video where I will have the Excel template pulled up and I will walk you through how to copy and paste and organize everything and make it look the way that a literature review matrix would look if I was working on a project. Okay, so that's one 50-point assignment. The next 50-point assignment is, remember up here where you had to write research questions and then you're going to get feedback from me? So down here, you're going to take those interview questions and you're going to do the interview. So you got to find someone to interview. Coordinating can be time consuming and labor intensive. So that's why I want it to be worth more points. You're going to record that interview and then you're going to transcribe that interview. So what you will submit to me is the transcribed, typed up text of the interview that you did and the recording to sort of prove that you did it. And that will be worth 50 points. And then at the end of the semester, everyone will create a free qualitative database account. So I know there's Dovetail and QDA Minor Lite are two different platforms that have a free option. You're going to create your account. And you're going to take all of the text files that you've created for me for this class throughout the semester. So the 2 sets of notes from your interview with me, your interview protocol, your informal essay, and your transcript of the interview collected. You're going to take all those files and you're going to upload them into a database once you've created your account. You have to find one additional text that you would want to analyze to upload to your database. This can be a policy or a law. This could be a newspaper article on your topic. It can be any type of text that you think is relevant to your topic that you would want to analyze in the future. And you're going to upload that. And then you're going to create a video where you're showing me how you log into your account and where all of these different files are in your database. So what you'll actually be submitting to me is that video of you demonstrating for me what your database looks like. And it'll be the same type of demonstration video that I've been creating for you each week. And then the last part of the project is a very short 1-page Word document where you have preliminary codes. So these are 2 to 3 codes where you're saying, in my interview and in the literature that I looked at, these are some of the themes and topics and words that came up a lot. If I were to code and analyze my data right now as a starting point, here are the 3 things I would be looking for, or here are the 2 things I would be looking for. And you'll just type that up into a code and then you'll upload that as well. So there's a lot to work through this semester, but everything is scaffolding. So all of these smaller assignments go into these larger assignments, and we'll be touching base throughout the semester to make sure that you have all of the things prepared to submit the bigger assignments. All right. Now, if you have had me before, you know the drill. If you have not had me before, I like to elicit anonymous feedback from students regularly. In my online classes, I do an exit pass once a week. And so this is a survey where I ask you questions about how your week's going, how class is going. And this is a safe space for students to ask me anything they might want to ask. So if you're embarrassed or shy and you don't want to email me, you don't want to post in the discussion board, you want other students to see your questions, here I am for you to tell me stuff. I might, In the past, I've moved my submission times from 11:59 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. based off of exit pass feedback. Um, I have given, maybe y'all are struggling with your interview protocol, which will be short assignment number 4. And I say, okay, everyone can have until Sunday at 11:59 p.m. These are just examples of some of the types of adjustments I've made in the past because of consistent feedback from multiple students I've received in the exit pass. So I take this very seriously. Learning and education is a two-way street. I learn from you just as much as you learn from me. And so I don't know what I don't know. This is your space to tell me what I don't know. And you'll always have access to this link by downloading the PowerPoint slides for that week and then copying and pasting it. I can also email it out. But I look forward to hearing from you all. Right. And then reminders. So buy the book if you haven't already. There's an ebook version. You can get it used. I don't care if it's an older edition or whatever, just as long as you have access to the book. And then you'll start with the readings on grounded theory and focus groups, which for details on what chapters that is, I don't know, I forget off the top of my head, go to our syllabus and there is a class schedule with all of the chapters you need to be reading and what assignments are due when and all that good stuff. So that's on there. And then read the syllabus start to finish. You'll note that there is a syllabus agreement toward the end of the syllabus. It's a sort of contract type thing where you're saying, I read everything, I understand the expectations for our class, and I'm agreeing to adhere to those expectations. And so I expect that signed class agreement to be submitted to me on Moodle by the end of week 1. And then don't forget, your first assignment is scheduling and completing your Zoom interview with me and submitting those notes on Moodle. So don't forget to take notes. And other than that, that's all I have. Have a great week. I look forward to hearing from you all soon.